Good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning, ma'am. Yeah. Today class, I will share with you. Okay. Screen share my screen. Okay. Yeah, I hope we will see. You can see my screen. Okay. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today we will start the IoT architecture and IoT enabling technologies. So that comes to the IoT architecture. As we discussed in the earlier class, what things are there? So here first we'll start the discussion with the IoT stack. We have, so generally we have 7 layers. Layer 1, I think layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, 5, 6, and 7. What is this 7 layers? As you are computer science engineer, you know how data can be communicated with the other device. Other device means here other within the IoT network. So for that, there are 7 layers. One minute. Okay, so we have 7 layers. That is OSI layers. OSI means what? Open System Interconnection Layer. Generally, so when we are going to talk about the IoT stack. So first we will start with the OSI layer. What is the OSI? Open System Interconnection Layer. Okay, so generally this OSI model defines a networking framework to implement a protocols in several layers. So we have different layer systems. So generally the basic version is OSI layer system is there are 7 layers, or you can say 7 stages. So layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, and layer 6. Usually layer 1 is called the physical or sensor layer. And layer 2 is the processing and control action layer. And third layer is hardware interface layer. And fourth one is RF layer. That means radio frequency. RF means radio frequency. That is communication layer to establish the communication between the one device to another device. And fifth layer is session or message layer. Then sixth layer is user experience layer. And seventh one is application layer. So these are the 7 layers. So through which the data can be transmitted. Suppose if you take the first layer, what I told you, the first layer is the physical or sensor layer. Okay. So generally what happens, your sensor, you can keep your sensor somewhere. So that environment is there. Okay. So for example, you can keep your sensor in the room to measure the temperature, or you can keep your sensor in the water tank to measure the water level, or you can keep your sensor in the petrol tank to measure the petrol tank level, or you may keep your sensor. So any forest or any fruits or something, any way, wherever, what is the data you want, based on that, you can keep your sensor. So that is actually called the physical or sensor layer. Okay. Generally, this layer is.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, some people in the waiting room, sir.
Hello?
Sir, some people are in the waiting room, sir.
1 minute. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So now the physical layer, okay, is connect. Actually, this layer is concerned about the physical component, which mainly includes the sensor. Including sensor is called the layer 1, physical layer. So generally in this layer, the sensors, what are the sensors? Are the core components. Yeah, when it comes to layer 1, sensors are the basic elements, basic components. Okay, the sensors maybe what I told you, you can use the temperature sensor, what kind of sensor it is, I don't bother about that. But in the physical layer or layer 1, your sensor is the core element. Okay, so that is called the physical layer component. Okay, so when we consider the industry, suppose if you go to the industry, so in the industrial automation process, so in the industrial automation process means in industries, most of the industries now they are automated, so that when you talk about the industrial automation, PLC, actuator, okay, these are the actuator, PLC, these two are the, what is that? So physical layer or layer 1, and so yeah. So PLC and actuator. What is the PLC full form is programmable logic controller. Programmable logic controller or actuator. That is generally in the last class I told you power actuators, our drivers. These are the core elements or physical layer or layer 1 in the industrial automation. Okay. And what is the role of these layers? This layer role is okay, is responsible for collecting the data. So from where the data is collecting, if you keep your sensor in the room, okay, then surrounding the sensor is the what? Surrounding the sensor will collect the data. So from where the data is collecting, suppose if you keep your sensor in the water tank, so water is the sensor will take the data from that water tank. So like that, it is responsible, the core element of the of data is different. Okay, and so now, okay, so what is the physical layer? You understand, and what type of what is the core element of the sensor physical layer? You know, and what is the responsible of the sensor? You know. Now, what are the challenges of the choosing of sensor? Okay, without sensor, you can't say it is a physical layer. Okay, that's why. So, what is the challenges or you will face in this layer? So here generally the challenge is very simple. The challenge is simple, but so taking the challenge is difficult. The means when the for this particular, for example, if you want to measure something in the atmosphere, what kind of sensor is required? That is the challenge. Okay, choosing an appropriate sensor is a very challenging task in this layer. Okay, because we have many sensors, so we don't know fully what kind of sensor will do this work and what kind of sensor will do this work. So that is the problem. Okay, and moreover the cost, performance also we don't know which one will do better and which one will do not better, and cost. Okay, different sensors, different costs are there. So that is the thing. So that this is the physical layer or sensor layer, the layer 1 in the sensor, sorry, IoT stack. Okay, in OSI layer, open system interconnection layer, we have the first layer that is called the physical layer or sensor layer. In this layer, what I told you, the core element is the sensor. Okay, we have different kinds of sensors, so that we have different kinds of sensors, as well as each sensor will have a different cost, and moreover the performance of each sensor is also different, so that the selection of the sensor for particular task is very challenging task. And one more thing is, what the sensor or what is the sensor role here is simply collecting the data from the surroundings. So this is the first layer. Any doubt? Hello?
Sir, are you sharing any screen, sir? We are not able to see anything.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, okay. Okay, 1 minute. Then yes. I will, yeah. This is. Got my point? This is the sensor. So connecting the sensor is called the first layer. So this is the surroundings. This is the surroundings. Yes, this is the surroundings. So from the surrounding, the data is collected by the sensor. So that without sensor, this work will not do. So that I can say this is the sensor is the core element, or it is a physical layer. The core element is the sensor. The role of sensor is collecting the data from the surroundings. And the challenge is what? Challenge is what? So selection of sensor for a particular task. Okay, that is the challenge. So otherwise it is simple. Okay. Then the second layer is, see here is a sensor, temperature, humidity, accelerator, and pressure, etc. So in industry, what is the sensor? What is the core element? PLC, programmable logic controller, actuator, pneumatic controller. These are this one. And second layer is processing and control action layer. Processing and control action layer. See, once the data is collected by the sensor, that data should be processing. So processing means understanding. For converting it into understanding language. Okay, so that the processing is very important. Collection of data is important there, but at the same time, so the processing of the data is also very important. Okay, so generally this second layer is it comprises the core components of IoT. So generally microprocessor or microcontrollers are included in this layer. Okay, in the first layer, the basic component is the sensor. In the second layer, generally what kind of device is core element? Processor or controller is the basic thing. And the data which is received by the microcontroller from the sensors or variety of the different things. Okay, so I think one can easily spot Arduino, Node MCU, PIC, ARM. Yeah, these are the development boards. Okay, you can find the sensor data. You can escalate the sensor data to the board, IoT board. In the IoT board, we have the processors, maybe microcontroller, microprocessor, or PIC, ARM. Different controllers are there, so you can use that. And these boards, we have different boards, IoT boards. That is the Arduino is one kind of IoT board, and Node MC is one kind of IoT board, and PIC is and ARM is. These are the different IoT boards. Okay, IoT boards means the board which can be used to run the IoT application. That board including so many things like processors, in addition to the controllers, means peripherals. So operating system is here is required. Suppose it is Arduino OS is required. It is a Raspberry Pi OS is required. So operating system at this level plays a major role. Okay, generally Arduino. Okay, so iOS, Linux, these are the different kinds of things which can use for the operation, which you can use as the OS. So okay, now whatever the data you collected from the environment to the sensors, okay, that can be processed by your processors. See, here is a layer 2 processing and control action layer. Microcontroller processor working with the layer. See, this is my processor, a microcontroller. This microcontroller may be PIC, ARM, Intel, whatever the boards you have. The board is definitely having some kind of processor. Maybe the development board, that is called IoT board, I can say. So the IoT board, so including this microcontroller. Okay. So generally, what kind of IoT boards we have? Arduino, Raspberry Pi. These are the popular IoT boards. And so this IoT boards to process the sensor data, they need the microcontrollers and they work with some OS, okay, operation software. That is the RTOS Linux, Arduino, sorry, Android and iOS. These are the different softwares with which your IoT board will work. This is second layer. So this is the second layer. Are you understand? First layer is the sensor layer, where the sensor is the basic element. Second layer is the processing layer, where the microcontroller is the basic element. Okay, and microcontroller is placed on the what? So on the IoT board, a development kit. We have major IoT boards are so Android, Arduino and Raspberry Pi. But these boards does require what? Some kind of OS. So Linux, Android, and RTOS. These are the different kinds of OSs. These are the this is the second level. So any doubt in the second layer? Hello, students. Second layer.
No, sir.
Yeah. So come to the third level. This is the hardware interface layer. Hardware interface layer. So generally, for example, your computer and your board should be joined. Or if you want to, suppose if you are sitting in the classroom, then suppose the teacher wants to play some slides in his what is that one laptop to show you. Then so there is a projector. The projector should be connected with the computer. Okay, this is the interface. So projector is one hardware. Okay, here your laptop is one more hardware. These two can be connected. That is called the hardware interface. So I think generally we use wires, but the wire is different than this interfacing layers. What is that? Wire is generally that carries the current, something current like signals. But here there is a lot of signals. There are a lot of wires. There are a lot of buses are there. So when it comes to this hardware interface layer, hardware components and communication standards. So RS-232. This is the one standard. Means generally whatever the male and female connection is there to join laptop and your projector. Okay, so that is called the RS-232. RS-232. When you see this is like a serial, that is like a one wire, but inside there is a number of wires are there, but it is a serial communication interface. So interfacing your device with the hardware is called the hardware interface. See, communication standards are there, some kind of communication standards. You should use to interface this one. What is that? RS-232, CAN, SPI, SCI, I2C. These are the some type of what communication standards which we use in the layer 3 to interface the hardware. So all these components are ensures flawless communication. So see here is a this is the components for communication is this is the you can join like this. You can join like this. So this is the RS-232. Most popularly we use the RS. Even USB cable also your communication standard. That means this is also comes under the hardware interface layer. USB cable. Through the USB cable you can join your mobile phone and your computer. Okay. So that is the one kind of hardware interface. So generally all these are communication standards because some kind of data you transfer you are trying to sending from the mobile phone to the computer or computer to the mobile phone. So that we need the communication interfacer, not ordinary interfacer. The communication interfacer means you can send so any type of data between them. So that we need the what interfacing communication standards like RS-232 and CAN, SPI, SCI, I2C. These are the some kind of standards which one we use for the interfacing of the hardwares. Okay, understand? Third layer. So need response. Hello, students. The first layer, sensor layer. Second layer is what is that one? Second layer, processing layer, and third one is what is that one? Interfacing layer. So the next layer is fourth layer, RF layer. RF layer is the what? So generally radio frequency, not wired. Okay. Suppose if you connect, as I told you, so you have a connection between the computer and your mobile phone. Okay. That is the USB cable through which you can do the communication. If the communication, physical communication is not there, you can establish the radio frequency communication. That means so wireless communication. So generally the wireless communication we can say here is the RF layer. So when one talks about the IoT, RF invitability gets discussed. Okay, it plays a major role in the communication channel. Okay, for the short range or long range of communication, the ranges. So generally, some kind of devices can work for the small distance communication, and some can work for the long distance communication. For example, if you want to share something from your mobile to neighboring mobile, then so based on distance, you can use the Bluetooth, okay, or share it, or infrared. So these are the three kinds of what is that one communication, RF communication you can establish. Okay, what is that one? So usually now you could not find any what is that one infrared communication, but in the olden days, maybe in one decade earlier, so mobile phones have those days generally. The problem is they are not having any internet facility. At that time, generally what happened, so to communicate some data between the two devices, to share some songs and some videos, okay, then they used RF communication, So in the RF communication, we have, what is that one? Infrared communication, and what is that one? Bluetooth communication, and one more is share it. These three kind of communications are used. But now, because every mobile have a facility of internet, so that I think there is no infrared communication. Of course, Bluetooth now plays because of your some kind of devices. You can use Bluetooth devices to interface with this. You can use RF. So Bluetooth is a Bluetooth is a one kind of RF communication. Okay. So the protocols used for the communication and transport of data based on RF are, okay. Some famous and common protocols are Wi-Fi is one of the RF communication, NFC, RFID, radio frequency identifier, Bluetooth. So all this comes under the, what is that one? One more is Li-Fi. So now instead of Wi-Fi, there is a Li-Fi, light fidelity, that means light. So wireless fidelity, and now by Li-Fi. So now that research is going towards the Li-Fi. Yeah, the communication can be established to the light. Okay, so anyhow, the fourth layer, RF layer, it's RF layer means so wireless communication. To establish the wireless communication, some protocols are definitely plays a very important role. Here, some of the common protocols are Wi-Fi, NFC, RFID, Bluetooth. Okay, so this is the short range. You can use low band. Short range means the short range means low bandwidth and high bandwidth. Two things are there. Long range, so more distance. Low bandwidth and high bandwidth. So these are the same. So for short generally, if you take the Bluetooth, yeah, Bluetooth. So the distance is very limited. Similarly, RFID. This distance is also very limited. Okay, and Wi-Fi, it's more distance, long distance. Like this, depending on the modem. This is called the modem also. So modem means modulator and demodulator. So this modem you can use. So that modem is nothing but what? RF layer. Understand fourth one? Hello? Students? Hello? So anyone can respond. Surya Prakash. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So do you know all abbreviations? Like what is the NFC? Near field communication. NFC means near field communication. Yeah, near field communication, NFC. Near field. This is also small distance, low distance or short distance. Field communication. And what is the term? Wi-Fi means wireless fidelity. Wireless fidelity. And Li-Fi means light fidelity. So and Bluetooth. Bluetooth. So all these are some kind of what? So RF communication modems. So you, depending on your distance of communication, you can select any one. So generally what we are using is Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is also not much long distance. Suppose from here to some next room or next room you can. Bluetooth is not such type of device. So these are the 4 layers. So okay. So any when it comes to the message layer, okay, what is the sessional message layer? See, so whenever you are talking about the IoT networking, so we have at that time definitely we should talk about the OSI. Okay, so in the OSI we have a different layers: layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5. Okay, and layer 6, layer 7 also. So layer first layer is the sensor layer. Sensor is the basic component there, and second layer is the processing layer. So processor is the main core element is there. Next, third one is, what is that one? Third one is the hardware interface layer. So we have different kind of what is that one? Interfacing between the devices. There is a communication standards are there. So like USB and RS-232, they are very popular, and CAN and router also. And fourth one is RF layer. RF layer means, so without this wire, we need to establish the communication between the two things. So that we can do facilitate with the, based on the distance of communication, you can use some short distance or short range communication devices or long range communication devices. So that is the some are near field communication and RFID and the Wi-Fi also. So I think you know about the RFID, radio frequency identifier. So generally now today, if you go to the if you go to the toll gate, so then you can find this RFID tags and radars. Okay, the distance is very small, not long distance. It will not use for the long distance. Okay, the fifth layer, when it comes to the fifth layer, what I told you. So here also there are protocols. Okay, protocols. Then how the message or data to be broadcasted to the cloud. Okay, the last, I think cloud is one type of what is that I told you in interfacer, that medium. So where you can take the data or you can keep the data. It's like a storage you can use. Okay, so now the protocols. Okay, how the data or the message, okay, data or message both are same here. So are broadcasted to the cloud. So generally in the fifth layer, okay, the messaging protocols are required, okay, to broadcast this message to the cloud. What are the messaging protocols? MQTT. MQTT is the messaging protocol. So MQTT. So what do you mean by MQTT? Already in the last class I told you. What is MQTT? Anybody? Okay. What is MQTT? Huh? Not remember? No. M means message, Q means queue, T means telemetry, T means transport. In the last class, I told you MQTT while we are talking about the syllabus. Message, queuing, telemetry, transport. And see, here is a sum of the protocols which can be used for the data to be broadcast, with the to the computer cloud. Okay, so some of the protocols are there. That is the MQTT. And what is the COAP? COAP means what? Second protocol. So constrained application protocol. Next one is HTTP, hypertext terminal protocol. So like this, we have a different protocols So they can use it for the broadcasting of the message or data to the cloud. So that is the fifth layer. And now comes to the sixth layer, user experience layer. Okay, what is the user experience layer? Generally, this is you are the user. For example, you are the user. Okay, so this layer is generally fully concerned with the end user experience. So when a product is designed, it should be showcased so rich UI features. So that means features designed which provides a pleasing experience while using the service or system or product. So that means, so you means user, I means interface. Okay. User interface features are very important. If the user interface facilities are not there, then it is difficult or it's somewhat not interesting to use the device. So generally object-oriented programming language or scripting languages or analytics tools, these are the including in this layer, means to visible clearly. Suppose if the icons, for example, if you see your mobile phone, some icons are there. Icon will describe something. By seeing the icon, I say this is the message icon, this is the WhatsApp icon, this is something icon. So like this we can say. So this is how you are easily identified. Even common people also, the who is not having education also, they can identify that one. This is the message, this is the WhatsApp, this is the phone call. So these are the icons. So this is the layer 6, user experience layer, where what happened. So whatever the user should feel good experience with the using of the device. So that for user understanding, simple, what is the icons are created. That is called the showcasing of user interface features. So that is important. Okay, last layer is the application layer. Okay, so application layer is the where you are using. So everything comes to perfection at this layer. So because the final one is this one, application layer talks about the possible applications which can be built with the support of rest of the layers. It can range from a simple automation application to the smart set applications. So that is the last. So for example, smart home, smart city, smart parking, smart energy, smart retails, smart agriculture. These are some of the applications. So these are the applications where you are using that device. That is called the application layer. Okay, so these are the total. We have a 7 layers. 7 layers. For these layers, what is that one? These all these layers is called the IoT layers or IoT stack. You can say. See, sensor layer to the application layer. Sensor, processing, hardware interface, RF, session layer or messaging layer, user interface layer, and application layer. Okay. Yes. The first layer. Yes. Now you can start with your first layer. This is the first layer is the sensor layer. Sensor is the basic element. Second layer is the processing layer. Microprocessor or microcontroller is the basic element. Okay. Where OS is required. And third layer is hardware interface layer. So generally we have two types of communication. One is wired and wireless. Wired communication is we need the communication standards. That means wires. So generally, what kind of devices? USB cable. If you see, that is the one of the hardware interface layer. Okay, and then one more is RF interface. So to make the wireless communication, to establish the wireless communication, we have different kind of wireless communication. I think layers, RF interface layers, type layers. One that is depending on your distance of communication. It may be short range or long range. So we have Bluetooth, near field communication, and Wi-Fi, Li-Fi. So all this comes under this one. And next one is the messaging or messaging of text layer, that is the fifth layer. So that means how the data can be transported to the cloud. So maybe using some protocols. So what are the protocols here? MQTT, message queuing, telemetry, transport, and constant application layer, HTTP, FTP, SFTP. So SSH. These are the different kinds of the protocols used for the escalating of the data from the after processing, okay, to the cloud. The next one is user interface layer. That is the sixth layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. User interface layer should be very attractive. So even common man also should understand this one. So for understanding of that one, to use the to make the use of what is that one, WhatsApp, more number of people. Okay, so they created one icon for the WhatsApp. So by seeing that icon, everybody can understand this is the WhatsApp symbol. If you click on that, you can go for the WhatsApp application. WhatsApp, like we have a Facebook, one type of icon is there. So these icons are created for simple understanding, simple use. So that is called the user interface layer. And last layer is the physical layer, that is called the application layer, that is the end. What type everything is can be applied to for what purpose. So I think application, so different sectors are there, you can apply for the different kinds of applications. So this is the IoT stack. Understand? Hello, students. So at least one response. No? Yeah, please. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who is that? Banerjee? Who is that? Hello? Shreya, 23. CHL, Shreya. Okay. So then, see temperature, humidity, and order. These are the different sensors are there. With the sensors, you can take the data and this analog to digital converter is there. Then microcontroller or a node. Okay. Then this data is sent to the cloud. Then it is converted to the Google Sheets. So or in some scripting language. Then you can send it to the what is that one mobile phone. Then you can see the location of tracking of the truck. Like that. So next one is enabling technologies. So what is the enabling technologies? IoT is a collection or group of many technologies devices, starting from the simplest of sensors, embedded systems, data analytics, mobile internet, security aspects, protocols involved, cloud storage. All these become the enabling technologies. You can understand? You can start from the sensor. You have the basics from the beginning, from the layer one otherwise. So different kinds of things are using. So those are called the technologies: sensor technology, embedded technology, okay, mobile technology, wireless communication technology. So like this, we have different all these starting from the sensor. Then finally, you can take the cloud also. So whatever the intermediate, them all are called the enabling technologies. So overall, we can understand that the enabling technologies devices or devices, you can say, shall fall under any one of the categories. Like the first one is technologies help in acquiring the data or sensing the data. So any technology which helps to acquire the data or sensing the data comes under the enabling technology. And technologies which helps in analyzing the data or processing the data. So to understanding the data, that is also technology. And technology that helps in tracking the control action. So that is also, so based on the data reading, based on understanding the data, so some kind of control signals you are supplying, that is also one of the technology. So technologies that helps in enabling enhancing the security privacy also comes under the enabling technologies. Okay, see, In this picture, so there is a this is a board and this sensor. This is one type of sensor. This is the what board and this is the vibrate sensor. So temperature sensor, moisture sensor, and camera. So all these you can say enabling. This is the sensors first. So this is the one of the enabling sensors technologies. Technologies. Your sensors will come under the enabling technologies. So these are the different kinds of sensors you can use. Okay. For home security, all these we are using. Yeah, that one. Yes. So for the this is the PIR sensor. This is for the human presence. That means motion detection. You can use for this one PIR sensor. pH sensor to measure the pH value. So different kinds of sensors are here. So based on application, you can use different sensors. So each sensor will be responsible for one type of work. Camera use it to camera sensor will use it to move the camera based on the motion of something. So like that, sensors are the one of the enabling technologies. So then cloud computing. This is also one of the enabling technologies. Okay. Yes. So IaaS, infrastructure as service, PaaS, platform as service, software as service. So cloud, generally cloud service providers are Amazon Web Server is there to provide the cloud services, and Azure is another cloud service providers. So next one is Adafruit and many more. We have different cloud service providers. So you can take the cloud from anyone. That means you can take the service from anyone. The cloud is cloud computing or cloud services are provided by the some service providers. So the three popular are Amazon, Azure, and Adafruit. So these are the three different cloud servicing providers. And here is SaaS. SaaS means software as a service. So complete software application as a service is provided to the user. So okay, that is the SaaS. And PaaS means platform as a service. So development tools, application interfaces, libraries, etc. They will come under the PaaS. Means platform as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service. So you can provide anything. So infrastructure services and IaaS, infrastructure as a service, virtual machines kind of support. Users shall manage the machines. Users shall select the OS and underlying applications. Pay as you use. This is the as okay. So we have three types of services, cloud services. Maybe you need the software, or you need the platform, or you need the infrastructure. So software SaaS, for example, our Tinkercad software. Okay, we are using, you and me and everybody using. Okay, for the laboratory purpose. So this is the open source software. You know, you can go directly. You can log into that particular website, and you can do all things by using of some hardware models. So that is the one type of service, that is cloud service. But which under which category it is coming? So it is a software as a service. Sometimes we can use the platform as a service. So generally Amazon, suppose if you want to sell something to the Flipkart or Amazon. Okay, so then what happened? That is the platform as a service. You are using the platform to sell your things. That is the platform as a service. Sometimes you can use the infrastructure also. You can use. You can take service. So that is one kind of. So that we have cloud services are three types. One is the infrastructure service. One more is the platform service. One more is software service. So based on your requirement, you can use. So service who provide the cloud services. So three companies: Amazon, Azure, and Adafruit. Yeah. So big data, very big data. So generally, this is the yes. 1 minute. I want to show you something. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So in the enabling technologies, see this is the order: RFID, sensor, smart, nano, These are the different enabling technologies. So generally RFID is to identify and track the data on things. So if you want to track something, that something must be having the RFID tag. So through the RFID tag, you can track it. That is the one of the enabling technology. Sensor to collect and process the data to detect and change in the physical status of the things. This is the second level of enabling technologies. Third one is smart technology. So to enhance the power of the network by developing processing capabilities to different parts of the network. That is a smart technology. And next, nanotechnology to make the smaller and smaller things have the ability to connect the internet. So that is the nanotechnology. These are the different kinds of enabling technologies. So RFID is the smallest enabling technology because it is nothing a small chip. And RFID, if you come to the RFID, as I told you, RFID tags are there. Tags, I think you have, what is that one? Yeah. Every car or every vehicle, so which need to pay toll, they are having the, what is the fast track tags. Okay, that is called the RFID tag. At the, what is that? In the place of toll gate, at the toll gate, we can find the RFID reader. That reader will read this tag, and so some type of communication they made between them. So thereby, the amount of the fee of the toll has been deducted from your bank account. Okay, then automatically the gate will open and your vehicle can let go. So that is the RFID. That means the smallest thing in the enabling technology is RFID. Okay. The reduction in terms of size, weight, energy consumption, and cost of the radio takes us a new era. That is the RFID. So generally, the RFID tag is a small microchip attached to the antenna. So can be seen as one of the main and smallest component of IoT that collects the data. And second one, wireless technology. That is also enabling technologies. Telecommunication systems. Okay, so telecommunication systems means for communication. So between the devices, initial or primary services, large coverage per access point, low or moderate data rates. These are the communication technologies, communication systems. This is another enabling technologies. Generally, what type of telecommunication services we have? GSM,